Okay, so we're talking about the binomial probability distribution now, and this is when we have n Bernoulli trials. So remember, a Bernoulli trial was when you rolled a dice or tossed a coin or picked someone out of a crowd and it was only one person, it was only ever one trial. And they had with probability of success we always called it P. So that meant X equaled 1 for a success, prob equaled P, 0 for a failure, prob equaled 1 minus P, and this happened n times. So another way of saying that it's a binomial distribution is saying that we have this funny thing. It's a tilde technically. Let me draw it better. It's binomially distributed with n trials, p success. So X is, I'm just trying to think of the fancy way to say it. Distributed binomially, which means it's literally a thing with successes or failures, doing it n times. Distributed binomially, n trials, p successes. So, for example, if I roll a dice 15 times and win if I get a 6, then X is binomially, I should use capital for that, distributed with 15 rolls and probability of 1/6 of winning. Okay, certain things we should know about the binomial probability distribution. We need to know the mean, which is also called expected value. So don't forget, we know EX for each trial equals P. We did this in the previous video. The probability of getting a success at each trial is P, so that's the expected value for each trials. We have N trials, so the expected value is N times P. Good formula to know. Okay, secondly, the variance. Well, the variance equaled P times 1 minus P for each trial. And we have N trials. So we'd expect the variance equals to be NP 1 minus P, which is NPQ. Good formula to know. Finally, we have the standard deviation. It's literally the square root of the variance. So here, the standard deviation equals the square root of NP 1 minus P, which is the square root of NPQ. Last good formula to know. So an example question you might get, example, if 1 in 200 Australians have coronavirus, and I have, how many people should I have? 30 people in my class. What is the expected value of x equals 30? Expected value. So how many people should I expect to have coronavirus in the class? What is the variance? So how could this change? And what is the standard deviation? So the expected value is NP, which is 15 people in the class, 30 people in the class. And the probability was 1 in 200, which gives me, what's that, 3 over 20? Okay. The variance is NP1 minus P. So this is 30 times 1 on 200 times, 199 on 200. Oh my gosh, yeah, I don't even know that. And the standard deviation is the square root of the variance, which is the square root of whatever this answer ended up being. 30 times 1 on 200 times 199 on 200. So they're the kinds of questions you would get for that. Oh, I shouldn't go any further without reminding you of the very special thing we learnt yesterday in exercise 17A. We learnt the probability of getting R successes in N trials for a binomial thing was NCR P to the R, so the probability of, of getting a success, R times 1 minus P to the N minus R, so they're all your failures. That's the last very important one we learned. That's it.